Hey guys, it's summer, and you know what that means? I have free time, so I'm gonna make YouTube videos when I'm bored. Um, it is June 1st right now. Happy Pride Month, by the way, guys. Um, I know it's probably been like a year since I made my last video. I am here with my Kamala Khan Funko Pop from the Avengers game. Not because I love the Avengers game, but because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Miss Marvel series that's coming out in a week from now exactly. It's coming out on June 8th, Disney Plus, with Aman Vellani starring as Miss Marvel. Of course, like any other comic book adaptation, it's an adaptation. It is not exactly comic books, and I gotta tell myself that they are adapting it. But they also make that very clear when they are changing Kamala Khan's powers. All right, before we jump too much into this, let me introduce myself and let me introduce Miss Marvel as well. Hey, I'm Ryan Garner. Welcome to my channel. Two fun facts about me. I'm 18 and I'm a huge Miss Marvel fan. I'm also a huge MCU fan. But that other way, let's talk about Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is about 16, 17. She's a teenager who goes to high school in New Jersey, Jersey City specifically. She is a Pakistani American. She is Muslim. She's a huge Avengers fan, specifically Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is her favorite hero, superhero. She has posters over around her room. She knows everything about the Avengers. She writes fan fiction and comics. What else? I'll tell you more about her later. Before we get too much into it, let me tell you about my connection to the character. About at least 2 years ago, possibly even close to 3, I heard about Miss Marvel. This is before they announced the show. And I wanted to read about her. I just heard that her origin story was really cool. This was also probably before I heard about the Avengers video game. So lucky me. So I bought a few comics, and once I bought like a comic or two of hers, just the first two in her first issue. I thought, well, I really liked this. I kept buying more. I really, really loved it, and I'm still reading them. I'm not too far into it because for a while I just didn't read her comics. I didn't go too much into it, but I have been a huge fan. I've read a lot of her beginning run. I'm reading her in some sort of like new and improved. That's not the right title, but like Avengers run right now. She's a great character, really relatable. Even though I'm not Pakistani Muslim, I just graduated high school. I am a teenager, but I love the Avengers, and just her experience, her dialogue is just so relatable. It's so funny, and I don't know. There were also some really great written comics. I've played her and Lego Marvel Superheroes too. I've played her in the Marvel's Avengers game. I've played her, and I've watched her in everything Marvel Rising. Marvel has had a animated series aimed towards people maybe like 10 or 12, and I really loved it. It's not that bad, honestly, but it's definitely not meant for adults. Regardless, let's get into her. Essentially, what I tell my friends is that one night she was at a party, and somehow, I don't know if it was even mentioned or brought up, at least in her comic run, is that the city of New Jersey had some sort of Terrigen bomb explode, and the city was misted. Terrigen is something associated with the Inhumans, and it basically activates like a cell or a gene, I guess, in the body, where those of the race of the species, and it can be passed down, the gene, Inhuman gene, it awakens powers for most of them. And it turns out Miss Marvel is an Inhuman. She basically, her story getting the powers is really awkward. She has like a little bit of a healing factor. She doesn't use it too much because it takes up a lot of her other powers when it comes to that. But basically, as you've probably seen somewhere, is she embiggens. So her fists grow, her arms grow, she gets really big, and it helps just with defeating bad guys and stuff, either if she gets to be bigger than them or as big as them. And she also does have to shrink a lot. Jen doesn't do it too much, just because she doesn't prefer to, but she shrinks. I've seen her like extend her legs to kick out her enemies and like trip them. But yeah, but what's cool is that her powers are awkward just like her. And she's not like that awkward or tripping in the halls with stacks of books kind of person, but she's also really geeky. She has this best friend named Bruno. Oh, sorry. This is everything you need to know about Miss Marvel. If I haven't said that already. I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive into her character. She has this best friend named Bruno. He's Italian. I think he does actually have two moms, but they don't talk about that too much. Her mom's like the most loving Italian people, the stereotypically Italian, but like people you'd ever meet. Bruno has this younger brother or cousin that works with him in Jersey City. Bruno owns this kind of like convenience store. I think this might be a chain, but it's called Circle Q, but he's like the manager there. Not unlike a 7-Eleven or something like that. Kamala's best friend, besides Bruno, best friend is Bruno, but also besides that is Nakia. Not to be confused with the other Nakia in the Black Panther universe, but they are not changing her name because you don't need to. Two people can have the same name, you know? Just like, I don't know. Oh, Peter Parker, Peter Quill, etc. Regardless, sorry. Her brother Amir, super religious. Kamala is not the most religious. She skips out on the mosque or whatever sometimes, a lot of times for superhero fighting, but also she doesn't choose to wear a hijab, but Nakia does. But her brother is super religious and is gonna become something religious one day. What else we need to know? Her mom and dad are the most loving people, but they are super strict because they are also pretty religious, but not even as religious as their son Amir. What else? Oh, she has some love interests. I haven't got to read about Red Dagger quite yet, but Red Dagger will be in the show. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you about him. Once again, I just haven't gotten to read that far, but I know we are going to meet, I forget his name, but in the comics, he turns himself blue, has some like powers. They're not exactly character related, I don't believe, but he's cool. But he ends up working for the bad guys, or for a bad guy. In her first run, she faced off against the Collector. It looks like in this show, she's facing off against some sort of government, which is not super cool. You know, having a teenager against government, and it's just a very stereotypical stereotype. For coming of age things. But okay, here's the thing. They did cast an Indian woman instead of a Pakistani one for her mom. They had another issue, a Christian girl as a hijabi, and I think her ethnicity might be weird as well, and someone else. But Mon Vellani, perfectly cast. The biggest fan of everything, of anything Marvel, knows anything, has posters in her room as well, has her own pins, loves film as well, is literally the best in the role. And now, sorry, I'm telling you my opinions about it. Also, before we get into it, later in the run after her first arc, Amir finds someone that he wants to marry, and the partner is African American, but she's a hijabi. She was actually a convert to Muslim, and yeah, her name's Taisha. She'll be in the series, so they're combining a few runs here. Of course, that's why I said it's called an adaptation. Amon's perfectly fit for this. She's Canadian, but she's I believe she might even be Pakistani as well. I don't know if she's Muslim, but Kamala's not the most Muslim as well. So my phone might be running low on battery. Sorry, it hasn't run up time. Sorry. Nokia. No, sorry. The creative forces behind this are really good. I can only hope they will implement religion in the way that it is implemented in the comics. What else? Hold on, let me just check my battery. I can't because I don't want to stop recording. Hold on, I have to do it. Okay, we're pretty good. Sorry about that. My phone brightness went down. You know that happens when your phone's gonna die. Bruno seems like he'll be pretty good. I can't imagine most of the people will be pretty. Oh, she also has this friend named Zoe Zimmer, who is like a white girl, and she's pretty annoying at first, but she becomes a good friend. I don't know if they're gonna have Bruno start dating another girl, even though Kamala is very interested in Bruno. They grew up together, etc. But she falls in love with I believe she falls in love with the two other people. I think Kareem is Red Dagger, but the other one as well that I was describing earlier. The other one I was describing earlier with the blue stuff, he can make his body blue and do some other weird stuff. The family friend, an Inhuman as well, and finally makes her feel seen, etc. Shares her identity, but trusting him, whatever, was not so good. Was not a good choice. In the comics, as the world's ending, she meets Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel comes in to help, gives her a thing, says, "I only do this. You can contact me, but only do this when you're in deep shit." Her mom figures out, and she tells her mom that she's a superhero, but doesn't even like tell her best friend, Nakia, or her dad. In the video game, that everyone really likes the story for, so they could definitely adapt parts of that. Kamala tells her dad. This looks like it may be implemented in the thing, in the show. The dad instead of the mom knows, but the secret identity is a really neat thing because no other hero has really had much of a secret identity besides maybe Peter Parker for a little bit. Actually, Peter Parker's had one for a little bit, but they better not have her like ever reveal it in the MCU like at all, because that's like a huge thing to her character. She balances, like, Iron Man helps her with her physics homework, and she tries balancing her life. And that's so much of the key thing is she tries combining like regular parts of life, like homework and relationships with family and boys, with superheroes, and she needs to find a balance and prioritize things, and say no to the Avengers sometimes. She's not always a part of the Avengers until like later on, but whatever. I just don't want to make it too long for you guys, because there's so much we can talk about Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan. I keep saying that. Yeah, the United States have a Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala Khan. You'll obviously hear that and you'll know, but just to make sure people don't get mixed up. My take on the powers, the most important thing. Powers are a key part of her story, a part of her character, and just they've been with her for like, I don't know, like 8 years. So why are they getting away? People will say that she might earn them by the end, which is kind of stupid because they would have to do almost like an origin story. It makes no sense whatsoever in the story. They just introduced Black Bolt, so spoiler alert in the Multiverse of Madness. He's an Inhuman. They mentioned humans in Terrigen Mist. It'd probably be a little bit too soon to introducing humans right now. Do they do it still? Hopefully. Do they give her a different origin in the Marvels? We'll see. But what she is doing, okay, but she has light constructs, right? She has built walls with them. She has used them to like, kind of like not fly, but like, okay, so like imagine this is Kamala, right? She's running, right? And then she like creates a light construct right here, and she jumps on it. She creates another one, and she jumps on the light constructs. That happened in the trailer. She used them to create like a border, like a physical like barrier. Again, these powers with light are very similar to Captain Marvel, and I think it's like Spectrum, Monica Rambeau, not to be confused with Maria Rambeau, who is her mom, died due to the snap. No, due to the cancer before the snap, and was her mom Maria, not Monica, was Captain Marvel in a different universe, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But Miss Marvel, her power is similar to those, which is like cool and stuff, but people are saying that she might get them. I hope she does a little bit. I hope they make them look gross. I hope they don't care about making them too similar to Mr. Fantastic, as people are saying, but I would love them to be in there at the start, or just in general. I'd take anything, honestly. She's my favorite hero. She means so much to me, and she means so much to everyone else. The suit looks pretty good. Finally, before I sign off, I want to make a few more remarks. Miss Marvel's story is all homemade. People are going to probably compare it to Peter Parker's a lot, but she made her first suit out of a burkini and a fanny pack. So, that does not look like what they're doing here, and it looks like she's getting made by someone professional, which is okay, but you know, it's all homemade. It's all in secret. So I don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it, but I trust them to a good extent nowadays, after I've looked at a few things. The series looks really exciting, because I'm landed on. People have been viewing the MCU very critically now. Either a series has to have big impact, or it's paced too fast, or it's doing something just for representation, or it doesn't miss the representation mark, or I don't know, it's too boring or something. Everyone views everything, but the MCU especially, very critically nowadays. It has to be like a good thing and like perfection, and that it can't just be fun. And they kind of accept that a little bit. Like people were like, Doctor Strange is like, at first there was like a week people saying, or like 5 days of people saying Doctor Strange is mid. Now people are like accepting it and doing whatever they want with it. And the fact that it died down that quickly tells you that it's not bad. And yeah, it had its mistakes, and they were bigger than No Way Home's. But thing with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is it was like generally good, and be like, oh, it's like in the top. It didn't make like a perfect score. It's like it's near Captain Marvel in the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Who gives a shit about Rotten Tomatoes scores? Sorry. Let me can I adjust the brightness? No, I can't. I don't know. I was letting me do it earlier. Okay. Miss Marvel isn't gonna be perfect. They changed the powers, okay? But here's the thing, here's what I didn't get to say. They had her fist extend with the light powers like multiple times on different occasions. The cinematography looks fun. It looks like it gets representation not too bad. It looks like she's really geeking out here. I'd be pretty surprised if Captain Marvel doesn't make a cameo, let alone someone else. It is going to be a love letter to all the Marvel fans, because that's what Kamala is, and that's what they keep saying, and that's why I'm so excited about it. And it will tell a Miss Marvel story without the beginning stuff, which is kind of surprising. And there's a half a frame of like Kamala like elongating like her legs and arms and stuff while she was jumping, so she could cross a wider distance, which is what she does with embiggening powers. So I'm just really hopeful that she'll get these embiggening powers. but I'm also really hopeful that they'll give us a fun series just about what Miss Marvel is, and that I'm not expecting it to be perfect, and no one should with this. It's a coming of age story. It tells a story about a kid. There's not going to be a ton of MCU stuff. It's going to be kids, teenagers, high schoolers, and a few adults. But this story is for your inner child. It's not so you can see Iron Man blast up bad guys, or any hero blast up bad guys. She's a person of color, she's young, and she's a woman. People might not like it, but I'm gonna tell you, it's fun. And if you go into it expecting to let out your inner geek, your inner Marvel fan, your inner child, your inner even like teenager, which isn't something you want to let out too much, you know, your inner, it's gonna be a fun series and you're gonna enjoy it. So just go into it with that in mind and with this background, because the special they just released on Disney Plus today didn't do shit. It just told us, oh, they're doing a good job with the series, and Kamala, and Iman Vellani's gonna do a great job. It's gonna be a fun series, as far as I know. I trust the people behind it. I'm really excited. So with that away, look out for stuff of me predicting what's going on in the future. Look out for stuff with me telling you what I liked and didn't like about the MCU content in the last like 6 months, because I have been uploaded stuff to my YouTube channel in a long time. And with that, see ya.